Hey everyone, Carlo Macapinlac here from newbiefitnessacademy.com. I help busy professionals reach their fat loss goals so they can feel more confident, be ready for any situation, and get the most out of their lives. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to figure out your keto diet macros ratio. This is the exact same process that I used with one of my coaching clients, and he's gone to become one of my best success stories. He also happens to be my dad, so you know it works. If you want to know exactly how he did it, make sure you stick around until the end of the video. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button to get notified every time I post a new video every week. Alright, let's dive in. Okay, let's talk about what a ketogenic diet is first and foremost. And this might be a quick review for some of you as well. A ketogenic diet is a very low carb, moderate protein, and high fat diet. You have to be getting most of your calories from fat, or it's not a keto diet. Now, you might be asking yourself right now, isn't fat bad for you? And the short answer is no. Eating fat won't make you fat. That's like one of the biggest nutrition myths of all time. The problem is, a lot of people are still under the assumption that it's true. If you want a quick history lesson about it, back in the 1960s, there was this uptick in Americans dying from heart disease, and scientists back then, led by a guy named Ansel Keys, who was very biased against fat, had two choices to blame. It was either fat or sugar, and we all know who won that debate. So, Americans were told that fat was bad and carbs and sugar were okay, and now we have an obesity epidemic. Okay, if we're talking strictly about a keto diet macros ratio, you want to go around at least 65 to 70% fat, 25% protein, and around 5% carbs. But I want you to treat those percentages more as a guideline. The most important number here is the amount of carbs in your diet because you don't have a lot of room for error here. You want to be below 50 grams in total daily when you're starting out because there's going to be an adaptation period there where your body is in the process of switching fuel sources. You have to give it some time. Once your body becomes adapted to eating less carbs, then you want to lower it even more to 20 grams or less. Now, that sounds pretty easy to follow in theory, right? But how do you know if you're on point with your percentages or if you've exceeded them? That's the hard part because 50 grams isn't a lot and there are so many foods out there with hidden carbs, and what you can't do is you can't just freestyle this part. I've tried it, it doesn't work. So, what happens with the keto diet is when you give your body mainly fat to burn, it adapts to become very good at using fat for energy. Your brain, which was previously running entirely on glucose from sugar and starch in your diet, begins to run on a new fuel called ketones, which is produced in your liver by breaking down fat. So as long as you don't give your body any carbs, in 2 to 6 weeks, you become fat adapted and then you're running mostly on fat for energy, and now your body enters a state called ketosis. Now, a pretty common mistake that people do is they incorrectly assume that if they just lower their carbs, then they can do a ketogenic diet, or that they can get most of the benefits that come from it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You can't just half-ass this diet. The best tip I can give you is you have to track your food and macros when you're on a keto diet. And I use a free app called MyFitnessPal for this. The app takes away any calculations or complicated math that you'd have to do when it comes to figuring out your keto diet macros ratio and tracking your food. Now, if you've never heard of the app before, I have a separate video on how to use MyFitnessPal, and I'm going to put the link for it in the description box. Now, I mentioned earlier about an adaptation period, so let's talk about that real quick because this can hold back a lot of people. For some people, when they switch to a keto diet, they kind of start to feel like crap. And this is commonly referred to as the keto flu. Thankfully, it's perfectly normal and temporary. Think of your body going through carb withdrawal, much like withdrawal associated with addictive substances. In fact, recent studies have compared the effect of carbs, particularly sugar on the brain, to that of addictive drugs like cocaine. If you're somebody with a sweet tooth and you can't seem to help yourself around sugar, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. Again, the keto flu is just a period where your body is adjusting to a new way of fueling. Think of a vintage car that hasn't been used in a while. At first, it might be a little rough as you wait for the engine to warm up, but once you give it some time and it's up and running, it starts to run smoothly. Now, one of the best benefits of a keto diet is that it allows your insulin levels to become very low, and fat burning increases dramatically because of it. Again, when your insulin levels are high, You can't access your own body fat for energy. You just can't. Insulin blocks fat burning. And when you allow it to get low, it becomes easy to access your fat stores to burn them off. This is great if you're trying to lose weight. The keto diet also controls blood sugar levels and is excellent for reversing type 2 diabetes, and this has been proven in a lot of studies. It makes perfect sense since the keto diet lowers blood sugar levels and reduces the negative impact of high insulin levels mentioned earlier. So, let's go back to our case study and see how the ketogenic diet has affected his life. Over many years of eating carbs, he developed high blood sugar levels, and this is common for a lot of people who eat a lot of refined carbs and sugar. If he continued down this path, it was only a matter of time until he developed type 2 diabetes. And a lot of people experience this. In fact, 1 in 10 Americans suffer from type 2 diabetes. Well, after 7 months of being on the ketogenic diet, again controlling blood sugar levels being one of its biggest benefits, he's all but lowered his blood sugar to normal levels. He's lost 5 inches off his waist. He went from a size 33 to a size 28 and dropped a whopping 20 pounds in 7 months. To put that into perspective, he hasn't been that lean in about 30 years. It's like turning back time. But here's the thing. Health isn't about the weight you lose, but about the life that you gain. How did all these awesome changes translate to his everyday life? Well, he feels healthier than ever. He's got more energy, and he's just more confident about himself. He can finally wear the clothes that he wants without feeling the need to hide his belly. And this change has just opened up so many more opportunities in his life. You simply can't put a price tag on that. Who knew that you could basically have a brand new lease on life in your 50s? Just like a lot of people, he was a little apprehensive at first to try the keto diet. He thought it was just a fad. Actually, it was almost a forced trial because my mom started packing him keto lunch for work every day, and I used her in another case study in a different video if you want to see her amazing results. Long story short, he was inspired by my mom's results, and once he stepped on the scale after a few weeks, he saw the numbers drop and he was hooked from that point forward. You can't argue with results, right? He's a man of few words, but I asked him what his biggest takeaway is from this experience, and he said 4 simple words that should resonate with everyone. It's never too late. Now, if you're someone who's been struggling with your weight loss effort for years, you've tried every diet under the sun and you can't seem to lose weight, or maybe you're feeling stuck because you did take that initial step, but now you've hit a weight loss plateau and you can't seem to get out of it, and you realize that it's time to get one-on-one professional help, then feel free to reach out to me. Head on over to my website, newbiefitnessacademy.com/coaching, read through the page, and fill out the application form for a free consultation. If I think that we're a match, then I'll personally reach out to you directly. Now, if you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I post a new video every week. And hey, leave me a comment below if you found this video helpful or if you have any questions about the keto diet. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the comment section. Virtual high five. The keto diet also controls blah. Again, the keto flu is just a period. Something in my eye. The most important number here is the enough. Oh my god. Can we do this again?